What you'll notice is that 2 of those 3 things have nothing to do with getting new customers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the eComm Growth Show.
Let's go. Hyper ice, Rob.
What?
Those are called hyper ices.
What is?
Those vibrating muscle guns.
Hydrovolt.
Hypervolt, but then I went to register mine and it was hyper ice.
Oh.
But anyways, the after work routine on those is beautiful, especially for an office job, because you got stuff for your neck. There's stuff for your thighs and your glutes, you know, to loosen it up. I did a 15-minute routine last night, and when I got to my neck, and you know how intense those things are.
Dude, my wife put that thing on the back of right where my spine connects to my skull. As soon as she did it, it was like, like all my teeth chattered.
Dude, it's terrible. But I was doing my neck, and it was like a 2-minute routine, and the girl on the video is just fine, you know, looks so chill. And I'm doing it, and my vision's all vibrating, all crazy. And at the end of 2 minutes, I felt like throwing up, man, because my brain shook so hard. I was like, this can't be good.
So for the people who are wondering WTH we're talking about, Patrick sent us these. They're like these guns with massage heads on them, right?
Hypervolts. It's just like this rod that just pounds your muscle really fast, basically.
Yeah. So
and Patrick, it's funny you brought him up specifically, because he told me a story this morning. He's like, yeah, dude, once you get used to them, you start kind of putting them in weird places. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And apparently he put one of the tips on his ear, and it was like tickling his eardrum really good. And he's like, it felt so good. He's like, but when I pulled off, his ear was all like, skin was missing and stuff. And it looked like he had cauliflower ear.
Oh my
Like he thought he gave himself cauliflower ear in like a 30-second vibe on his hair. And he's like, the next day it went down and everything, but there's still like scabs. It was all nasty.
Dude, so I had that. There's an attachment that's like a ball, and I just had that, and it's good for sore muscles. And I was going up around my neck and on my traps. And I just wanted to see what would happen if I put it on my throat, you know, thinking I'd be able to make a Chewbacca sound.
Yeah.
And so I let out this cry as I was hitting my throat with it, dude, but it rattled my throat so bad that it made me, I thought I was going to throw up, dude. It like made me instantly nauseous.
Bro, that's like the Vietnam jugular punch.
Yeah, don't do it.
That's terrible.
I wouldn't recommend it, dude. But
so why are we talking about Hypervolt, guys? It's because these guys have something figured out.
Hydrovolt. Hypervolt? Hydrovolt?
I don't know.
Theragun?
Hyper
it's a massage
ice,
gun. You know
whatever it is. These guys have something figured out.
Yep.
Not only do they have customer acquisition figured out, they have their LTV figured out. You know why I know that?
Why?
Because I'm already seeing ads for other products that they have that I'm like, dude, I love this one. Of course I'm going to buy the tight knee wrap.
It was
that
in
vibrates
the
your
dadgum packaging of the first purchase.
Exactly. And the packaging itself was beautiful, right?
That I kept the packaging even though I don't need it.
That's how beautiful it was. And that should be a lesson to all you e-com store owners of packaging, as well as promoting future items, because that's going to increase your LTV. What's the third one? I already forgot.
Average order value and LTV. So basically what we're talking about today, guys, is Abraham. He says to grow any business, all you need to do, any business, you need to focus on 3 things. Get more customers, get them to purchase more often, and get them to spend more every time they purchase. What you'll notice is that 2 of those 3 things have nothing to do with getting new customers. So
Zero.
For e-commerce businesses who are using Facebook ads, Instagram ads, even dibble-dabbling into TikTok,
Snapperoonie chat.
They're all focused on trying to scale their presence, scale their new customer acquisition, scale their ads, but they're not even thinking about 2/3 of the equation to grow any business, and that is average order value and lifetime value.
That's good. That's good.
And those are just like, that's how we think of it in terms of e-commerce. But that can be applied to any business. It can be applied to a service business, whatever. It can be applied anywhere. And so today what we want to talk about is the importance, and more importantly, the problem that people really, really overlook 2/3 of that equation to grow their business.
Yeah. And what's crazy is people only look at their marketing for new customer acquisition, but that's not where it starts. That's where, excuse me, that's not where it stops. That's where it merely starts. But there's so much follow-up to be had in cross-selling and upselling on these platforms that can actually hike up your LTV. And there's things you can also do to help with your average order value on the front end, with bundling and things like that. But your marketing efforts do not only have to be for first time acquisition.
Yep. And to think about it, let's just pull out a couple specific examples.
Let's do that.
We got these massage guns is what I'll call them, since there's a debacle around the actual name.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's a massage gun. We got this in the mail, and really, really awesome tool, really awesome product. And right away, as we said, there's a pamphlet inside the packaging telling me about other things that I could potentially use with my new massage gun. Different products. I think there's 2 products, and they're both looked like really awesome things. So if I love that product, I'm naturally going to love the other one they recommend, and I'm going to, start thinking about making that extra purchase. So right away, you can do it in your packaging just by putting a printout in there or a pamphlet. You can do it in the checkout process. Yep. So if somebody,
good,
a lot of apparel brands right now, what I'm seeing is spend $100 and get a free mask. No, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a mask. It's pretty cheap to
make a mask.
But it's still, even incrementally, just pushing up that average order value, which again, if you do that time and time after again, each time they purchase, will ultimately increase the lifetime value.
The checkout process is such a good example. I know Apple does this really well too. When you're going to buy a computer, even if it's headphones, something small, there's always add-ons along the way. And it starts you off with the basic model, but as you go, you're like, I kind of want a little bit more.
I want my name engraved.
I kind of want my name engraved.
I want my protection plan.
I want the Retina 5K. I don't know if that's the thing, but you do all these upgrades along the way. Before you know it, you're spending double what you set out to do.
Exactly.
And you're fine with it because you're getting all these sweet upgrades along the way.
Yep. And the same thing happens with, clothing companies. Like I said, you spend a certain amount, you get free shipping. You spend a certain amount, you get a free mask. Yep. I did one this during the holiday season. I added an entire, another set of pants just so that I could get a free pair of socks.
Oh,
it's like, dude, I don't need.
Got you on that one.
I don't need more socks. I just need one pair of pants. But there's just something so appealing about these just simple upgrades, and especially if you can give them some type of a discount or incentive to make that upgrade and increase that average order value.
For lifetime value, I think there's so much that can be done through email marketing, that people forget about, but even sending people to only your top customers on exclusive new things that you have, because it creates more loyalty first off for those customers. Like, oh wow, this is limited. I get to buy this. I get first dibs. But what you're doing each time is you're hiking up that LTV even more from your top customers. There's other ways to do it from the bottom half as well, but always remarketing to your current customer base and going above and beyond on customer service is so important. And even running campaigns to those people, like we do it all the time for our clients, where we have our top of funnel, obviously first time acquisitions that we're going for, but then at the end, it's not even end of funnel, Rob, at that point. We do a whole nother
Yeah,
layer.
it's like a post-purchase campaign.
Yeah, which promotes loyalty, so you stay top of mind for that person. So if they are shopping again, you're the brand that's popping up. But then there's also maybe some discounts you're running to people that have just purchased from you that you want to send a different item to that they might also like.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, the reason they spend so much time on that 1/3 of their business on new customer acquisition is because when you're just starting out, it's absolute survival.
Yeah.
And you develop some bad habits there to think that all your revenue comes from new customers.
Yeah.
And, you know, marketers and agencies and people's like us, it's much easier to describe marketing as a linear process. And so we talk about funnels. We talk about a very specific purchase process that a consumer goes through to be able to purchase an item. But as you grow and you become a more mature business, you understand that it's a lot less linear than that first phase of just getting off the ground and getting out of survival mode. It's actually developing omnipresence. It's developing an ecosystem. It's putting out a big table full of tasty little appetizers, little pieces of value to every person so that they're nibbling here and there. And then eventually they'll like, I want to sit down and eat here
for the rest of my life. That was beautiful. I was going to say something, Rob. Give me a second here. Give me a second. It'll come. Yeah, it's gone. It's
no worries.
It's gone.
The idea of omnipresence and creating an ecosystem.
Oh, it's back. You hold that thought before I lose mine again. So what I was going to say is the person that can spend the most to acquire a customer wins the internet. So it's all about who can spend the most to acquire the customer that's going to build your brand long term. So in order to spend the most, you need to have the best average order value and a really great LTV. Otherwise, you can't spend much money top of funnel to acquire new people. So that's why the focus is so important on the back end of upping the AOV and the LTV.
You know, another way to increase LTV, what we think about, it's really nice to dip and dab like into the details and then big picture and then tactics and then principles. And one thing that's true, don't care who you are, is that money follows value. And so if you're trying to get more money from a customer, create that lifetime value, you need to be able to provide value back to them. Yeah. And so as we kind of we've talked about some specific ways that you can increase AOV and LTV. Let's talk about something a little bit more intangible. You know, what's one way a company can add value to their loyal customers without developing a new product? I mean, developing a new product and doing product launches is definitely one way to do that. But there's so many people who have grown their business just by being funny, just by creating social media posts that are fun to watch.
Yeah.
And, you know, in that, they're always staying in touch with that company and they feel like they have a relationship with that company. And when new products come out and are kind of slipped in between those other posts that are so entertaining, they're going to be aware of them and they're going to want to buy them. But, you know, one of my favorite brands, I got a package right out there, might even have somebody throw it into me just to prove it, is Chubby's.
Great brand, great presence, and they're funny.
They're so funny.
Like I watch their social media just because it's so entertaining.
Yeah.
Like the flexing they're doing, the weird stunts they're doing with those shorts on. It's great marketing. But that type of stuff helps them on the front end and back end, where it lowers their cost per acquisition because it's got virality to it.
If all I saw was ads that say these are the best shorts, they're stretchy, they're water resistant, and that's all that was coming to me, I'd be like, maybe I'll take a pair.
Maybe not though.
But I'll probably not come back and buy a second pair. No, but these are guys where I'm like, dude, I want to visit their office. I want to run into these guys in San Francisco. I want to get them on the podcast. Yeah. Like this is fun. And
this is fun right now.
You can add value to your customers. And it doesn't have to be funny. You know, it can be eloquent. It can be nice. It's just something to keep your customers engaged and create that omnipresence, which ultimately will extend that relationship with your customer and keep them coming back for more and more and more. So again, ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 things you can do to grow any business. It's to get new customers, to increase the amount they're spending when they purchase, and to increase the amount of times they're purchasing every single year. If you can do those three things, you can grow any business in the world. What we're saying today is don't forget about the other 2/3 of the equation, because in e-commerce, it's really easy to put all of your eggs in the basket of just getting new customers.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys got some value from that today. If you like what you heard, go ahead and like this, subscribe to this, and share this with a friend. And we're going to continue to drop eComm knowledge with you. We'll see you next time on the eComm Growth Show.
Tickle bug.